All right, guys, we are here with Jeff Emig. Jeff, thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
I have to tell you one thing, though. I hold you responsible for the calluses on my hands because I keep squeezing those Emig ODI grips, and
Yeah?
I don't know.
Well, the grips are amazing. I'll probably have to do a video here on the Elevate platform to talk about grip strength and all that, because the grips aren't the problem, you're the problem.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. I'm probably squeezing too much, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's one of the things about Elevate and all of us coaches that are on Elevate is that there's just thousands of little nuggets of information and technique and processes and training and all these things that we hope to take and basically transfer our knowledge to the customer on Elevate. And ironically, I really hadn't thought about that, but grip pressure, like strength, like which kind of falls in like the arm pump category, which I imagine when you ride you get a ton of arm pump.
No, I'm getting a little bit better.
Okay, better. But a lot of that has to do with grip strength, and so that certainly needs to be one of my instructional videos on the platform. Would be talking about, okay, if you find that you're really wearing your grips out, or if you're getting blisters on your hands, well, there's a cause for that, right? Because when I ride now, like I get no blisters ever. Like I have really good, like perfect grip strength, and run the proper grips and all that, and it really does make a big difference.
I wonder if there is a way how you can measure the grip strength. Like you can have something connected to your handlebars, and then just how strong you squeeze it or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's interesting. I really can't say whether or not there's an element out there other than just the human element, the feel of are you getting blisters, are you getting calluses on your hands, do you get arm pump? Okay, so what do you do to counteract that?
Okay, Jeff, I'm going to ask you what make you part of this Elevate team. There is a lot of great coaches. You're one of them, and I'm asking everybody what made the decision for you to join Elevate.
Well, when David Pingree first approached me about the idea of Elevate and the app and the platform, I was in right away. I am a coach. I'm a founding member of the U.S. Motorcycle Coaching Association, but I also am a certified coach through the USMCA, and you can find me on motorcyclecoaching.org. So I do coach, sometimes a lot, sometimes a little bit, but this is a completely different way of coaching, because now you're making instructional videos, and it's just limitless. So the opportunity looked great, especially the fact that it's not just one or two coaches, that there really is a whole catalog of coaches that bring a different aspect to it, and maybe the customer connects more with one coach than the other, right? Or maybe you get a little nugget from everyone. So the strength in numbers, the group that we have, the group of legendary riders, coaches, mechanics, everybody, I think is what's really going to make the Elevate platform successful.
Yeah, it's really amazing to see all the variety of coaches you have on the platform. Jeff, what do you think it would be the slightly different approach that you have to coaching and to teaching people how to ride compared to some other riders on the board?
Well, I really coach like technique and being strict with your technique. A lot of my own personal experience and what I strived for as a racer was to become efficient on the bike. So there's certain riders, champions, that you watch them ride and it seems effortless. They seem very fluid, and it's like, wow, they look so easy. There's other champions that are complete bulldogs, right? Wow, that they look like they really rode their ass off. So for me, I've always looked at it, the approach of how do I do this and save energy while I'm riding? How do I do this in a way that I'm not using energy and strength, and I do it safely, right? So because if it's safe and if it's effortless, you can duplicate it really easy. And if you ride like a bulldog, I mean, you're going to have to train your ass off because you're going to wear yourself out physically. So that's fine. It has worked for certain riders, and they've won races and championships by doing it that way. My philosophy is being strict with your technique, and then being very efficient with your riding style, and that should lend itself to better results.
Do you think it's possible to change somebody who rides like a bulldog to be a guy who is a fluid on a bike, or do you think it's given to every single person to be this or that?
Well, we each are different in our own individual ways, and so you can probably make, a small percentage of change in any one individual, right? In our media day and press conference today, one of the coaches mentioned the differences between Ricky Carmichael and Stefan Everts. Two completely different riders, both extremely successful at what they do. They just approached it from a different direction. So also is identifying with a rider what coaching style or riding style and technique will benefit you the most. What makes the most sense to you? Because once we get on the motorcycle and we put the helmet and goggles on, it's just us. Every man and woman for himself or herself. Right? So if one way of coaching, let's say there was my way of coaching, if a rider didn't connect with it, hopefully they can go on Elevate and connect with another coach that, okay, that seems to make sense for me. Right?
Okay, cool. Last question. There will be a lot of kids using this platform. So I wanted to know, what was your first dirt bike and how old were you when you started?
So my first dirt bike was the little Indian 50, kind of the size of a PW50 or like a Suzuki JR50, like that size.
Was it two-stroke?
Yeah, okay. Would have been a two-stroke. So, and my first ride would have been somewhere in like the spring of 1975. And I remember my dad obviously told me, I probably don't remember the actual day, but it was on this baseball field, and it was in Kansas City, Missouri, where I grew up in the middle of the United States. And that baseball field is still there. I actually drove past it just a couple months ago, and I drive past the baseball field, and I go, that's where I learned to ride a dirt bike.
And how old were you?
Oh, I would have been 4 years old. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks a lot, Jeff. Appreciate it.